Namaste, my name is Sanat Kumar. Welcome back to the Manana podcast. Manana is a Sanskrit word that means reflection or contemplation. In this podcast, I'll be sharing my deep, insightful reflections for you to contemplate and hence live a life of fulfillment. I hope you find great value in today's episode. In the episode, Are You a Cog in the Machine? I talked about the screwed system, but not very deeply. In this episode, I'll not only go deep into what the actual problem is, but into why does it continue to exist? Why does this system continue to exist? And through it, let's try to understand our responsibilities in trying to solve it. We cannot completely dissolve the system, but we can see how we can deal with it. The current system of students going to educational institutions for the sole intention of making money is definitely screwed. Students choose a college based on how good the campus selection is. That is, how well they'll be placed in which job, right? And how many students get employed after being through that college. That is what they see now. And then there is another side of the coin. The employers naturally are not interested in your grades, but your skills. But still, the degree is necessary. And since you are a fresher, they'll squeeze you to the maximum possible for the tiny fees. It's peanuts what they pay you for freshers. So why is it screwed? I mean, of course, after I have told all these, it's very evident why it is screwed. Let's go even deeper. People in it are not living happily and not living the life of fulfillment. That is the point here. If something is working well and everybody is happy, everybody is fulfilled, there's no problem in that. But people are not happy doing this. People are not fulfilled. And I've seen people, I've interviewed them, I've not formally, but yeah, like casual talking. Whether it be a college student or a fresher, an employee, they'll not have time to do the vital things in their life. You ask them to meditate, practice an art form, write in a journal, practice yoga, or do something they love for at least a few hours a day. Because anyway, they have chosen not to do that throughout the day, right? So that's why at least a few hours, I'm saying. They'll say they have no time. And this is tragedy because not only just the senior students, I'm seeing even primary school kids saying they don't have time because they have schoolwork. I usually get mind blown when my students say this. Anyway, let's focus on, the grad students and employees. For the decision they should have made based on how the process will be, they choose it based on the final result, right? They won't see what job I will be doing, what kind of stress it will bring to me, or whether it will be relevant to me even. They won't see any of that. They'll just see final result. I'll be getting this much money from this so and so, right? And that is always a plan to fail, right? Here, failing at living. They fail at living a life of fulfillment. And that's just the beginning. If you ask a primary school student, what next? Or what do you want to become? They may reply with some grand plans or highly set ambitions. If you ask a college student the same, they might say all they need now is a job and to make money. Of course, there are students who are exception to these because they have plans of becoming scientists, etc. Then the system is the only way they can go through it. If they plan on becoming a doctor or a pilot, we don't want people flying planes or becoming doctors or without a certificate, so they have to go through the system and they're happy with it. I'm saying about the other stuff, okay? So if you ask the same to a fresher, they might say they're looking to jump from the current job, or they might say they'll start their own startup after so and so months or years but have no idea what it is. Or even worse, even though they're not able to live life to the fullest, they'll say, this job is putting money on the table, I'll do it for another X years and then enjoy my life. I can completely understand that. It's the most simplest excuse anybody can come up with. It's very easy to come up with that excuse, right? So why is the time frame of their thinking reducing? That's what I want you to ponder on. Why is there a decrease in the hunger and their intensity of their passion to go after their ambitions? Or if not both, why have they forgotten their mortality and that they might be too late to begin the lap of enjoying life? Why do they think they live for 60 years or 80 years or 100 years? What if their life ends at 30? Let that not happen. But what if it does? It does, right? For many, the last birthday they celebrate is 29, maybe 28, 25, 30. You can die now. So if they die at 25, just completing their uh, degree at 21 and going for a job for 3 years, stuck there, not living a fulfilled life, what did they accomplish? I'm not saying they should accomplish something great. At least they should have lived fully. This is what I'm talking about, the system, reducing the thinking, time frame, everything. So having no clue about the future is not the problem. Having no clue of the present is. That's what I'm trying to say. I repeat, having no clue about the future is not the problem. If you have no plans for the future, no problem. You are good. But you have no clue of the present, why you are doing what you are doing, whether you're fulfilled now, uh, what you're doing currently. Are you just aware of that? That's what I'm asking. Why do people become so less capable of reflecting and analyzing their own situation and what they're experiencing with it? Why do people choose not to reflect? See, one must ask themselves this: what's your purpose? Your goal cannot be your purpose. As I already told, purpose is not something like God given. At least you should not see it that way. Yes, it might be something of the past, but it will be like that for very few people. To simplify what is a purpose, you can look at it as so. How do you like to serve humanity till your last breath? Your purpose lies in that line of work. How do you want to serve humanity till your last breath? Whatever you're currently working on, just think about what's next. You think this way because this will clarify what makes your life fulfilled right now and forever. It doesn't matter when you die, right? If you're doing something good, something which makes you feel good, of course, we should consider other aspects like dharma, karma, etc. But I'm saying that you are at least sensible to understand that. Don't argue that, yeah, I feel good killing people, and so I'm doing that. So, suppose, let's say you've set a goal for yourself to become a professor and teach microbiology, digital electronics, or any other subject for that matter. Becoming a professor cannot be your purpose. It's just a gateway, and hence it is just a goal. In fact, let's say it's a mini goal, micro goal. Yeah, micro goal to achieve the actual goal, probably, right? Your goal should be to be a great professor. Teach the students in such a way that they understand in a very crystal clear manner, and also they find it entertaining. That is what we want in today's era, right? We want such professors. And by the way, what do you teach if you do not have the experience in the field you like to teach? Presentation of any data or information is not teaching. That's what we are seeing in colleges today. Why do you think we are seeing lecturers who just dictate from the textbook? Why do you think we are seeing so-called professors who are just blabbering something? They are not making you understand. That is the role of a teacher. If somebody's role is just to convert from text to audio signal, then a robot can do it. AI will replace you. But that is not what we say as teachers. Teachers have a great role in this society. Becoming a teacher or professor, it is a noble job. Why? Because it is a responsibility of building the future. And why? Because it's not just about transferring information in a different format. No. Presentation of any data or information is not teaching. So I think that is one of the most crucial things that we need to change in the system. But of course, I'm just saying this. These are very hypothetical. We cannot probably change it. Okay, forget the future. How can one's future be great when in the present they focus their attention and energies very least now on the essentials? How can they enjoy their life in the future when they've not cared for their health now? When they've not cared to know the key aspects of fulfilled life? And when they've subdued, they have been submissive towards their creative self for years, and they know very less about money, and they don't even know that it is just a means to freedom, not a purpose to life. How do they build a great future? Are you getting me? None of these are taught in the system. Why does this system continue to exist? So it's linked like a chain. Okay, the system is continuing to exist mainly because of the lack of courage in youths. And the lack of courage is due to the lack of clarity and competence in their prime age. So, in other words, by the time they realize that they are being forcefully pushed into the system, why I say being forcefully pushed into the system is because we are all unique. We are all in different shapes, let's imagine. System is fit for particular shapes. But if you have to make every shape go into that system, you're actually forcefully pushing it into the system, right? When they see that the system has nothing they imagine their life to be, they'll start seeking their passion, realizing that doing what they love is one of the keys to happiness. However, passion is not something to be discovered. We have talked about this in the episode, You Need Not Be the Best. So, we have talked about the difference between interest and passion, and how you can make an interest into passion, right? Passion is not something to be discovered, it is to be built over time with continuous effort and feedback. Hence, it takes a lot of time. But by then, they spent their time and energies on what society told them was valuable, not what their gut told them would lead to their life of fulfillment. And to be successful in one's passionate line of work is an entirely different story and a big ask. Okay, so you cannot just decide today that this is my passion, and tomorrow you cannot become great at what you do and earn money out of it. So it will take years for one to be successful at what one loves to do. But the youths do not have that kind of time at their prime age because it's already too late. At least they believe they do not have time, because by then society will be sitting over their heads to ask where and how much money they are earning, right? You just imagine any final year engineer or degree student, as soon as they finish their education, they'll be asked, are you placed, what kind of money are you getting, which company, basically. So it's about status and money. Okay, they're not at all bothered about the fulfillment or the what knowledge they gain there, nothing. And when that such kind of youth becomes a parent, they fuel this vicious cycle even more. They'll suggest their kids to make more money by taking a secure job and working so hard that they can enjoy more freedom. I mean, of course, not everybody does that. Some people will realize what tough a job this system is giving, what crap this is. But many of the parents, especially before Gen Z, the parents are doing the same thing. They think one of the best ways to get freedom for their children is to make more money. And to make more money, they have to secure a great job, work so hard that they can enjoy that freedom. Of course, they don't even imagine whether they'll have everything that takes to enjoy that freedom. So it sounds as though it is the right thing to do, studying well and getting a good education, securing a job, and working so hard. Everything sounds perfect, right? But is it? And speaking of the right things, dharma is within us. The question is, are you listening? If you're cheating yourself throughout the entirety of your life, how does it belong to righteousness? Again, as mentioned, it's mainly due to the lack of clarity and competence that all this drama exists. And when youths choose to and move towards awareness, this screwed system will eventually cease to exist. But of course, that is way ahead, and it's probably not going to happen because it requires an effort from a lot of people, right? Usually it does not happen like that. Awareness gets only few people joining its membership. Anyway, by knowing all these, the responsibilities of parents, teachers, and students or youths can be clearly understood. And through this episode, I urge you to reflect on your responsibilities as a teacher, parent, and or as a youth. I hope you received excellent value in today's episode. To know more, head over to sanatkumarnahibi.com, and if you haven't already, check out my book, The Flower of Fulfillment. Thank you for listening, and I wish you have a great day.